We inherited our house from my baby boomer parents. It's a 4-bedroom transitional farmhouse, tucked in a quiet, well-kept HOA community. When they downsized into a small apartment at a senior living estate, they gifted us the house, right around the time our fourth son was born. It was a generous gesture, and it made sense. The house was big, and so was our family. Our boys were 7, 5, 3, and a newborn when we moved in. Back then, things were still manageable. At first, the neighborhood was nearly silent. The only sounds during the day came from the occasional garage door or lawnmower. I tried to keep the kids quiet too, at least for a while. Felt like the polite thing to do. But then I asked myself, why have a big backyard if the kids can't play in it? Why have a massive driveway if they couldn't shoot a basketball or ride a scooter? So, my husband planted a line of American holly trees along the driveway for privacy and put up a basketball hoop at one end. The boys loved it. They'd spend afternoons after school making shots, laughing, arguing in a brotherly way, and sometimes crying if someone got bumped or missed too many baskets. Nothing wild, just normal kid energy, and never past 6 p.m. Pretty soon, other kids from the neighborhood started coming over. Parents were happy to let their kids hang out at our place, especially the ones still working long hours or from home. We even set up a kiddie pool in the backyard for our youngest and his friends. Before long, our house became the unofficial kiddie watcher spot on the block. I didn't mind. The boys had fun, and it felt like the kind of neighborhood these homes were designed for. Then came a complaint. A man from a street over, whose backyard bordered ours, came by one afternoon. Could you maybe put a lid on the noise? He asked. When I asked how, he said he didn't care how, but maybe I could start by taking the basketball hoop down. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived from the HOA. Our kids were creating a nuisance by playing outside during non-designated recreational hours. There was a $50 fine attached. I read the letter twice. Recreational hours? Since when did kids need a schedule to play? And whose kids were the nuisance? As far as I could tell, it was everyone's kids. I went straight to the HOA office the next day. The woman at the desk smiled politely and handed me the rule book. Page 3, she said. Noise regulations and public space usage. There it was in print. Outdoor recreation for minors is restricted to the hours of 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on weekends and holidays only. Excessive noise is prohibited. So, no weekday play at all. No after-school ball games. No backyard fun unless it was a weekend or holiday. I stared at it. So what are working parents supposed to do? I asked. Tell our kids to sit still after school until bedtime? She shrugged. We've had complaints. I talked it over with the boys. My husband said he'd handle it. He paid the fine, then waited until the next HOA meeting. After the meeting, he came home with a look that said something had gone down. He told me he'd sorted it out. The next Saturday, there was a knock on our door. I opened it to find the same grumpy neighbor, looking very sheepish, standing beside a woman holding a plate of cookies. She smiled. We came to apologize. Turns out, that neighbor was on the HOA board, and his wife was one of the moms who regularly sent her kids over to our house after school. She had just started a new remote job and relied on us to keep her kids occupied so she could work in peace. She had no idea her husband had filed a complaint or that he'd gotten us fined. He, for his part, didn't realize his own kids were part of the after-school nuisance. At the meeting, my husband read out the names of all the families whose kids regularly played at our place. When he got to the board member's name, the guy who filed the complaint, there was a long silence. The man turned red. Right there, in front of everyone, he realized he had fined himself by extension. After the meeting, he found my husband, handed him a 50, shook his hand, and begged him not to take it any further. But his wife found out. She had it out with him, as she put it, and now she was at my door, cookies in hand, making peace. The rule was amended soon after. Kids could now play outdoors until 7 p.m. on weekdays, and weekends were wide open. Noise complaints would only apply after dark or for truly disruptive behavior. I've even heard the HOA is now planning to build a community playground or rec center where the kids can play and where the little ones will be safe. So yes, the house is still big, the boys are even bigger, and though it's not always quiet here, it's home. And it sounds like one too.